Pokopia has absolutely had my heart and many hours of my time since it first launched. It is safe to say that I haven't been as hyperfixated on a game in a very long time, but that is not to say there aren't a few things about this game that I think could be better. This isn't so much a review, instead this is a video of things that if I could change them, I would. And obviously there are some quality of life features thrown in as well for good measure. Feel free to have a vent in the comments as well. Let me know what annoys you most about this game, no matter how small it is or how big it is. But without further ado, let's get into the video. Many years ago now, I started playing a little game called Animal Crossing New Horizons, and I felt really excited when I saw that first fruit tree on my island, but getting more types of trees on your island wasn't too much of a problem in that game. All you had to do was visit an island or find someone you could kindly trade with. Did Pokopia decide to follow the same route? Well, half they did, but sadly they missed out on the very important half. Each save file will only naturally spawn in 2 types of berries, and although finding some of those berries through trading with Pokemon can be quite easy to come by, you cannot just go around planting these berries to make new trees. Oh no, you must find the seeds themselves, which is where the conundrum hits. How do you get the rest of the trees? I was casually playing through the game, hoping that eventually I would get the other trees by going to the different areas. However, when it got to a point when I realized this was taking way too long and I wanted to get my paint stockpile up and running, I decided to visit the developer island, take some reference photos, and printed those trees back on my island. I don't mind that this is how it came to be, but this wasn't immediately obvious, and had I not endlessly been scrolling Pokopia content on social media, I may have never found out about this. And secondly, it just didn't feel like this should be the organic way that you should find these new trees. In my mind, there probably should have been a smoother way to obtain them, like the different berries. Maybe you could have traded them in for seeds or break them down and then they turn into seeds, something like that. Or at least they should have been obtainable to purchase the seeds in the shop or by trading with Pokemon, as you can trade for the other berries. I know these are just trees and you're probably asking, damn, why is she so pressed about this? I just really think this was a bit of a missed opportunity that wasn't explained very well. But on a positive note, it did allow me to use the 3D photo printer, which in the absence of player trading, I find is absolutely wonderful. The next thing I have a love-hate relationship with, and this is, of course, the storage system. Now, did I enjoy creating my underground cave storage system? Absolutely, yes, I did. It was oddly satisfying. Do I love spending 20 minutes putting blocks away every time that I return from a dream island or an outing? Absolutely not. I also don't love that when I go to decorate in another area and I forget that one particular item, I have to travel all the way back to my storage to grab it. I don't know if there is a fix for this, apart from improving my memory or kind of having a dedicated storage system on every single section, but let's be realistic, that probably isn't going to happen. I probably have a lot more moans and gripes about the storage system. I could probably write an entire essay on them alone. However, if you don't get organized and get organized quickly in the game, you will soon be drowning in hundreds of blocks and items that you find. By no means am I complaining about the variety of blocks. I love that, but just FYI, I have seen a lot of people saying that the game is overwhelming, and I think the storage system is probably one of the biggest contributing factors to that. Without an absolute overhaul of the storage system to maybe something more like the Animal Crossing storage system, there probably isn't a whole lot they can do to fix this, but there are a couple things I wish they would amend. First up, when you transfer an item into a chest, for some reason, the same item that you already have in the chest doesn't always auto stack. So you have to go ahead, press the X button, and then it will stack for you. I have one simple word answer to this. Why? Please fix this. I don't think there's any other game where I have this problem. It's really kind of irritating. And secondly, for my sanity, please can we have a transfer all button? I have had 20 stacks of white rock and I want to put them in one chest, and I would rather not get a repetitive strain injury doing it. Thank you. Storage rant over. I briefly did mention the paint/dye system when discussing berries, but it does actually deserve its own section here. On the whole, I do quite like it. I like going to see Smearguru and his paint tail. I do wish, however, that I could replicate him 5 times over so I had one of him on each of my map, or there was a way to like summon him like we do with honey, but I don't think it's recommended to eat paint, even if you are a ditto. But that isn't my main issue with the whole system. Firstly, the white and the black paint. I get it, there are no white or black berries in this particular colour, however, making them subject to the game's RNG just plain hurts, especially if you are like me and you want everything to be either pink or white or blue and white. It is really hurting my decorator's soul having to spend so much time running around for the tiny morsel of hope that one of my crush Pokemon has worked super hard that day. I know you will say, oh, just buy it from the shop. And yes, I could do that, but that stuff gets expensive very quickly, so I would rather not. My second moan about the paint system is that some things are ridiculously expensive to dye. Who in their right mind thought of approving painting one circular bridge walkway would cost to dye? I dyed a lot of these, maybe like 40 or 50, and it cost me way over 100 dye. And honestly, my heart sank. Not just a little bit, a lot. Do you know how long it takes to get 100 white paint? A damn long time, that's how much. So please take pity on us and fix the odd amounts so Smearguru is not committing daylight robbery with our paint storage system. The next biggie is probably the controls. I will hold my hands up and say I am a keyboard and mouse girly. Controllers are just not for me, but after thousands of hours in Animal Crossing, I have got pretty used to Joy-Cons and I'm okay with that. However, even those thousands of hours in Animal Crossing did not quite prepare me for some of the controls in this game and how often I pick up the wrong piece of furniture or destroyed 4 blocks when I just wanted to destroy the one. I know we have the mouse function with the Switch 2 and it is possible, but it's definitely not an easy option and it's a bit of a hassle, especially if you're playing handheld, then you have to unhook the Joy-Con, remove it, just to get rid of 1 block because you placed it in the wrong place. Yes, Magnemite does make things easier, but when you are just a beginner in the game, I think a lot of people do really struggle with this. Also, just to add, before you suggest it, I did buy one of those Switch 2 Joy-Con mouse holder thingamajoggies, and it didn't help that much, so save your money on that. I will say I do appreciate the option to place blocks smoothly, and using the button to switch views between items when in close proximity is a little bit of an added bonus. So maybe I am being overly harsh on the controls, but I do think that there could have been a few little improvements here or there. So there are my main big issues with Pokopia, and I don't think it's that many, and some of them may be a little unjustified, but that's what it is. But here are some smaller things that I think could be improved, and maybe I'm just being a little bit picky, but I think it's okay to be picky when you spend as much as you do on these games. I would really like a quicker way to spread blocks and create grass. I like how it works in Minecraft, but in Pokopia there's no way to easily get grass to kind of spread, so you have it spreading from like the grass block to the dirt block. Even if a Pokemon could do this for me, it would make so much sense. There is lots of leaf Pokemon out there after all. Instead, when it comes to doing this, you have to use the leafage skill and then cut everything. To me, this just feels a little bit grindy. I just want a little bit more grass. I know I could go to a dream island and go grab some more, but then I would have to go to my storage and then it's just a whole thing. So being able to have a Pokemon that could do it for me would be a little bit of a savior. I would also love the option to be able to just go to one particular terminal and see what the other biomes kind of details are. So this could be the different challenges for that biome, check the environment levels, which probably doesn't matter as much now that I'm all at level 10, but had it been earlier in the game, it definitely would have been so much better, so much easier to do. And also when you're trying to grind out money just so that you could, without having to go to that particular biome, you could see, oh, I just need to grow 1 more tomato and I'm gonna get 500 coins. Like that would just make everything feel so much smoother. Can we also talk about relics? Can we please appraise multiple relics at once? I purposely like to save them all up, and it can take a significant amount of time to go through this. There is so much text, there's so much button mashing just to get through it a little bit quicker. Overall, this whole process is just a little bit tedious. Please, can someone from Game Freak put up a picture of what the town looked like before they were destroyed? Honestly, it hurts my head so much to figure out how Bleak Beach, for example, looked before and how the path should work. I do hope that if there is further expansions, then the areas aren't so heavily destroyed, so it's kind of easy to put the pieces back together. I do love the fact that we are kind of rebuilding and things, but in some areas it's really hard to see how it once looked before, and it's really hard to kind of map out the pathing, particularly in Bleak Beach. So I just want a little sneak peek at how it looked like when the humans were around. Please, 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 can we eat food whilst also in the rollout transformation? We can eat whilst we're in the Magnemite to just replenish our PP really quickly. So I would love it if we could do it with this guy too. This would be so helpful for when I'm rolling around in the underground trying to get all of that Pokemetal. I would appreciate that so much. And the final thing is pretty niche. When it comes to photos, can we not just have them automatically saved to our Switch? As the cap is a little bit annoying and feels unnecessary. With reference pictures, I get that makes sense, but just your normal standard pictures, can there just be an option for it to autosave? Or if anyone does know if there is an option, can you tell me so that I can fix that? But even after all those complaints, I still absolutely love this game, and I won't lie, I am still racking up those hours. I just needed to vent a little bit. Let me know after all this time in the game what things are niggling at you about the game, and what would you change in the comments. Have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you again soon. Bye bye!